Hey everyone, welcome to the Wrestling Experience.
Where only Randy Orton can murder someone and then strike his signature pose right after.
He's gotta, he's gotta show us that he's the Viper, the Legend Killer, and now the guy that likes burning people or burning things.
Wow, it really went to a whole nother level last
The
night, eh?
Incinerator. Man, dude, no matter what you can say, about Raw and SmackDown, you have to give the WWE credit where credit is due. When it comes to their pay-per-views, man, they like with the year that we've had in 2020, where there's a lot of uncertainties and everything. They did an incredible job, and this pay-per-view, in my opinion, was the best pay-per-view of the year.
Ooh, okay. I mean, it would certainly delivered. What a great pay-per-view. I don't know if it was the best one this year, but nice. I'm glad you really enjoyed it.
Go
Thought it
down
was
the
great.
line, go down the line, and I'm pretty sure, like when you look at match quality and everything, it definitely delivered. But we're gonna start with the recap. I'm Jazz,
I'm Johnny.
and now this was supposed to be your true main event, but it actually ended up opening the show. We have Drew
I could not be
McIntyre.
happier.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
just have to. I get to watch my favorite match. I could have just turned it off right after.
Of course. So we have Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles. I thought that was a really, really great match. The story itself was, Drew kind of favoring his right leg from the get-go. Obviously,
AJ went straight for it, like in the opening. As soon as the bell rang, he went for a kick and he
Yeah.
started attacking the leg. Yeah.
Now, there was one moment that I really enjoyed, which I thought was it was really cool. Drew McIntyre at the very beginning sets up for the Claymore, but AJ Styles manages to get out of it, and he got chopped right out of the building. I don't know if you like it felt like it was one of those Walter chops. You know what I mean?
The sound echoed through the Thunderdome.
Oh yeah,
It was crazy.
And then Drew McIntyre is kind of ragdolling AJ Styles outside from end to end. He's staring down almost, and he's kind of telling he's kind of putting him at his place. This is where they bring out the ladder in there. We see a couple of chair shots. This match was really, really brutal. But what was interesting was the Miz kind of interfered, and he was kind of dumb, right?
Well, yeah, so here's what happens, right? So it looks like there was a lot of good stuff. Like, it was pretty brutal in the first half of the match. AJ Styles put a calf crusher with the chair on Drew. That was
Oh, yeah.
brutal. Drew tossed AJ from inside the ring outside onto a table, and he was climbing to get to win the title. And that's when the Miz comes in and power bombs Drew from the ladder onto a table, right? And decides to cash in. And you're right, Miz is stupid because he slowly climbs with a smirk on his face because he's like, I did it. AJ's out. I just took out Drew. I'm going to win.
Yeah.
But Almost was there, right? No, everyone forgot about Almost. He slowly gets into the ring and he just kind of like grabs Miz and holds him like a baby and then just kind of like dumps him from the ring onto a table.
I'm sorry.
It was probably the best 3 seconds of the entire pay-per-view was that, just him dropping him like a baby, like just holding him and then just letting him fall onto a table.
He gently dropped him onto that table, though. Let's put it that way.
And then Morrison hits him with a chair, and the chair just like breaks, and he no sells it completely. And then Morrison runs away and almost slowly chases him down. I don't think he can move any faster than that. And now we have an actual triple threat match.
Yeah. So I again, like I thought it was pretty funny, and this is where McIntyre and Styles, they slowly start climbing to the top of the ladder. Styles again hits him with the knee, but Drew is still standing, and they're fighting at the top. And then the Miz comes out with a second ladder, and the Miz starts climbing, and there is a bit of fighting going on with the Miz and AJ Styles. Drew actually uses the second ladder to kind of throw them off, and before he goes and he climbs and he gets his title successfully, he does Claymore kick the Miz, one for good measure, and that's it. Drew McIntyre retains. The Miz loses his briefcase. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. He should have kind of left it at the end, but hey, what can you do, right?
Yeah, I can't believe it, man. Drew McIntyre buried AJ Styles and the Money in the Bank contract holder. Wow, I'm so sick. No, I actually love it. That was amazing. I'm so happy.
It was great. So yeah, so this match, honestly, I thought it was really, really great. It was a solid opener, and I think the right person won.
Agreed.
So we do have a quick backstage segment with Kayla and Paul Heyman. She basically has a couple of questions for him. I mean, he's like, you should be asking me if I love sports, and I would say, actually, I love NASCAR, but I don't like NASCAR for the sport. I love it for the car crashes. And this is the business that we're in. People get hurt. Someone is going to get hurt tonight. And he actually gives his famous spoiler line. So Kevin Owens has no chance.
Absolutely none, yeah. And he couldn't reveal any more strategy because he knew Kevin Owens was watching. So he was like, that's why he had that sports comment.
Now, this next match, if you break it down, excellent. We have Sasha Banks versus Carmella. Carmella from the get-go playing mind games early on, using Sasha's anger to kind of get her to kind of, I guess, maybe lose track a little bit, and she starts working on the injured back of Sasha Banks. And whenever Sasha Banks had some sort of offense, Carmella was there to kind of just shut her down.
Yeah, Carmella looked amazing in this match, and the sommelier, of course, did have his moments. He appeared twice to cause some sort of interference / distraction. The first time was pretty clever because he managed to give Carmella the upper hand without actually causing a disqualification by kind of like picking her up and then putting her on Sasha so she can deliver her Karana, which was nice. Mm-hmm. Sasha did almost pick up the win later on in the match with the bank statement, and the sommelier did pull her out, or rather he pulled Carmella out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or did he pull Sasha? I don't remember, but this didn't cause a disqualification, which I mean could have reasonably been a disqualification here, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
So he saved Carmella there again. But all this to say, Carmella still looked amazing here. Obviously, Sasha Banks kicks out of a brutal double super kick where it looked like Carmella had it, and Sasha Banks kicked out at the last second and was able to capitalize and eventually lock in the bank statement for the win.
Yeah.
And all this to say, Carmella looked amazing in defeat, even though she did have a little bit of distraction and shenanigans with her sommelier. But again, I think it was clear that Sasha should win and actually have a successful defense here. So, there was all this to say, it was predictable yet very entertaining, and everyone looked good here.
Yeah, I like the fact that she also paid homage to her hero Eddie Guerrero when she delivered the Three Amigos and the frog splash.
That was a nice frog splash, yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that she got to hit the Meteora on the sommelier, who has a name. His name is Reginald.
Does he have he has a last name too, right?
I
just don't remember.
They just said Reginald. I don't know about a last name, but Sasha showing her resilience, picking up a much deserved win. But yeah, like we were talking about for the last couple of weeks, Carmella, don't sleep on her. Carmella, honestly, is in the discussion of being one of the best women on SmackDown.
Yeah, and if he did have a last name, they're gonna eventually get rid of it somewhere down the line anyway. So.
Good point. So now we have Billie Kay backstage with Asuka. She gives Asuka her resume, talking about how she can be a great tag team partner for her. She even speaks Japanese. Now, Billie Kay, is there something that she can't do?
Nothing. Asuka was so happy to hear that she could speak Japanese that she ended up speaking Japanese, and then Billie Kay kind of is like, yeah, I agree with you, though I don't think she understood what she said at all. But it turns out that Billie Kay is not ready for Asuka, or not ready to be Asuka's partner, unfortunately. So that didn't work out.
Unfortunately. And Asuka did say that the position has been filled. I'm pretty sure we all know where this is going. But we do have the Hurt Business versus the New Day. Before the match, there's a quick Instagram promo from Cedric Alexander. He's really hyped up. He's fired up. And then we also have the New Day that are prepping backstage in gorilla position. And Charlie asks them how this is going to be different from their last bout. And they talk about how the New Day has no ceiling and that they are a big match New Day. And 2020 is going to end exactly the same way as it began, with the New Day as tag team champions. Unfortunately, that did not happen.
It's not too late, though. They could still win it back.
Yes, it's true. It is true. It did not happen. And I honestly thought that this was a really, really good match. Now, MVP wanted a huddle. Cedric was too headstrong at the beginning. He gets caught by Kofi Kingston. There's a lot of things that Cedric did at the beginning where, he's really hasty. And then there was actually a moment. Yeah.
Was to his detriment this time, as opposed to the last few weeks, because the New Day came out strong right out the bat here.
But there was a moment where MVP was kind of outside with him, and he kind of gave him, some water to hydrate, and I guess a little pep talk.
Gave him the special stuff because he got fired up after that.
Yeah, and some great chemistry from Shelton Benjamin and Kofi Kingston. But they've been wrestling each other for the past 10 plus years. So I really wasn't surprised by that. I do love this one segment, this one moment where Kofi is going for the boom drop, and just out of nowhere, Shelton just picks him up in the air. Again, it's something that I hadn't seen. Shelton was like, I guess, still on the ground, but the fact that he got up and he got to pick him in the air and just slam him, I thought that was really, really great. Kofi does turn it around. He does hit the SOS on Cedric Alexander, but only gets a 2 count.
He also counters their double team move, which was pretty nice.
Of course. And now the thing is, at the end, Shelton is in full control. You know that Shelton is going to pick up the victory, but Cedric is the one that kind of tags himself in. He hits the lumbar check, and he gets the victory for himself. So,
good thing he didn't blow it.
Exactly. So Hasty Cedric almost blew it, but not really, because, Kofi was down and out at this point by Shelton. So Lashley comes out. They're all celebrating. They all have gold except for MVP. So MVP is. All I have to say is watch out, Drew McIntyre.
Did I not call this?
Yeah.
Did I
right.
not call this?
Absolutely, man. You're a psychic.
I should have just went with my gut and went for Hurt Business instead of predicting New Day to retain because I had it. This is my own fault.
You should have agreed with me.
I should have agreed. What do you mean? We both said New Day.
I know. I was kind
Don't turn this around.
I was kind of putting it out there, but I did say at the end that I wouldn't be surprised if the Hurt Business won. But yeah, that's not really a prediction.
Yes, I predict this, but I would not be surprised if my prediction is wrong.
I know. I'm just kidding. So now we have Sami Zayn backstage, and he calls out Kayla for leaking his audio of his tirade. Now, this is obviously a joke with, I believe it was Tom Cruise who kind of lashed out on a bunch of people on the set of Mission Impossible for not respecting COVID protocols, which, this is a wrestling podcast, so we're not going to go into it, but I thought that it was warranted, his tirade. And so we have Sami Zayn doing the same thing, and he just wants to know, who sent you the audio. Was it Big E? It was Big E, right? And Kayla just says that a journalist doesn't reveal her sources.
To be fair, if Big E was involved in the segment, so how could he have also, been out there and filming this reaction afterwards? But we don't know who it is. It might have been the SmackDown hacker for all we know.
Hey, we know who that hacker is, though. Let's not forget, right? It's
yes.
Ali. It's Ali.
Ali.
He has a name. So now we have Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Asuka and her partner. Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna say it?
Well, I mean, you called it. It's Charlotte.
I was waiting for a woo. I thought you were gonna woo.
No, I'm too upset.
A sad woo, maybe.
Billie Kay is a former tag team champion. Yes. Far better partner choice than Charlotte. Who even is Charlotte? What has she done? She hasn't even been here for 6 months.
On.
Okay. Charlotte's great. Everyone's happy. Charlotte looks amazing. Nia Jax is a little afraid. You could see that she's not happy about this because it was Nia Jax that took her out, I believe, or that was their last encounter.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Charlotte does want a piece of Nia Jax, and we do get a pretty solid tag team match, right? The only thing I didn't like was all of a sudden Asuka is the one who's getting destroyed, getting the hot tag for Charlotte to look amazing because.
So Asuka was Lana and Lana was Asuka, essentially.
Yeah, they got rid of Lana.
Yeah.
Had Asuka become Lana and have Charlotte become Asuka, which a little bit of a bummer there.
I was going to say the same thing as you. Control-C, Control-V. I thought this was a really good match. We got to see some great moments where Shayna Baszler put on the Kirifuda clutch on Charlotte, and Charlotte always had an answer. She's charging up. She was no-selling everything. So was Nia, though. Nia was also no-selling. But
Nia Jax did nothing except she sold a kick from Charlotte, though.
Yeah, that's true.
The weakest-looking kick I've ever seen from Charlotte, and she fell down. And Nia Jax fell down, and I'm like, oh, wow, finally.
I just didn't like Asuka looking weak. But, hey, at the end, it's Charlotte who puts on the figure 8 on Shayna. Nia intervenes, but Asuka takes her out. And Charlotte reverses the Kirifuda clutch once again and one last time, and she hits Shayna with a natural selection for the win. And
that was nice, though.
We have Asuka 2
belt.
Give it to her. Yeah, for sure. Asuka 2 belt. That's the positive in all of this.
That's what we're gonna take home until they lose it again, and then Charlotte turns on her, loses the titles, and goes after the Raw Women's title, and then Asuka's gonna be no belts before you know it, which is gonna be sad. Hopefully, that's not what happens.
So yeah. Now we have Sami Zayn backstage. He budges in on R-Truth and Big E. Sami Zayn is starting all of these conspiracy theories. He calls Big E a joke ever since he's been solo, and he shouldn't have said that because Big E his demeanor changed right away, man. Like, he got serious. He's like, keep playing and I will see you real soon. And turns out that...
How can you forget, though, that R-Truth was there the entire time?
Oh, R-Truth, man. He bolted the moment that he saw that Big E got serious.
Yeah, that's true.
But so all that to say that the match is official. On Christmas Day, we're going to have Sami Zayn versus Big E for the IC champion on SmackDown, so that should be cool. So now we're going to go with what I thought was going to be the main event, and it didn't end up being the main event. We have Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens in there's no other way of describing it, but for me this is a very late contender for match of the year.
This was a great match. Yeah, absolutely amazing.
There's no other way of, like, I feel like even if we talk about it and everything, we're gonna do a disservice to this match. So we hope that you guys have seen it. We hope that you guys stick around and you keep listening to us and then you watch it again, because this is something that I would watch again. Hands down, like, just no hesitation whatsoever. So Roman Reigns comes out first. Kevin Owens runs him down, and Kevin Owens is on fire. He hits the cannonball. He throws Roman into the barricade, and he's not done. He hits him with another cannonball onto the barricade. He's completely taken Roman off guard, and he actually hits him with a frog splash outside as well. And unfortunately, though, I didn't know that this was a handicap match.
Me neither. Jey Uso appears. But, I mean, Kevin Owens does take out Jey Uso, right? He does hit him a few times with the chair. He does hit his ankle on a super kick attempt with the chair, and then, like, puts the chair between his ankle and stomps on the chair, which takes out Jey Uso. He gets carried out because he's on one leg. Roman, of course, is finally awake, and he starts taking control after the Jey Uso distraction. But that's not the end of Jey Uso, right?
Oh, no. He comes in so many times. Roman sets up a ladder. Kevin Owens makes his comeback. He nails Roman with a couple of chair shots, but Roman does kind of go in, and he suplexes Kevin Owens onto the ladder. Twice, actually. And the second time, the landing looked pretty bad.
Both of them did. Roman did the thing where he hits him with the stairs, the ladder, and the chair. I was just waiting for the table, but that didn't happen, but it does happen later in the match.
And then Jey Uso comes in 2 or 3 times, or I think even
with
more
a broken freaking ankle too.
Pretty much, man.
KO gets the stunner. He does a pop-up on Jey on a table. He climbs the ladder. Again, Roman rakes his eye to stop him. There's so many attempts where we're just cheering for Kevin Owens, and he gets up there, and then something happens, and it gets worse and worse each time he gets up there, because he went up there a few times. Before I guess you kind of go towards the ending, there was one thing that I thought was pretty cool. So Roman Reigns, he choke slams Kevin Owens onto a table outside. He's not done. He picks up Kevin Owens again, and he hits him with a Samoan drop onto another table, right? And Roman Reigns is slowly climbing up. He's all smiles because he knows he's about to win. As he gets to the top, he sees a beaten down Kevin Owens just slowly just kind of grab onto his foot. And he just starts laughing. He can't believe that Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens slaps him, and then he spears Owens through another table. But in the corner, and it looked pretty brutal. He was holding Roman was holding his shoulder after the spear too.
And Kevin Owens says, "You're gonna have to kill me, Roman. You're gonna have to kill me."
Now he's outside of the ring, right? And he's like, "You're gonna have to kill me." And then he's egging him to come on, and Roman charges to spear him, but Kevin Owens dodges, and Roman just crashes into the barricade completely.
This is where I believed.
Kevin is at the top again, but Roman does stop him.
Jey Uso.
It was Jey this time. I thought it was Roman.
It was Jey Uso. Yeah, it was Jey. I thought
Jey was the second. But okay, it was Jey.
Yeah.
And then there was a pop-up Superman punch, but then the second pop-up powerbomb was a actual successful powerbomb from KO, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Now KO has it, and Jey comes back again. He's able to stun Jey, and I think Jey sold this stunner like a champion. It was one of the best-looking KO stunners I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
Then KO finally has it. He's going to grab it, and Roman dick punches him and locks him in a guillotine on top of the ladder and lets him fall.
Oh, man.
Unconscious. And that was just heartbreaking there. Roman retains there.
But that's the thing. It's like this company just toys with us because they're like, they all think that Roman is gonna win, but let's give them let's just plant this seed of Kevin can actually win this, and then we start believing, we start marking out. We're excited. We were texting each other like crazy when this was happening, and I started believing. I'm like, oh my god, what if they actually write this story and this could actually work out? But no, unfortunately, Kevin Owens loses. But there is going to be another match. There's going to be a steel cage match between Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns on Christmas Day. So we have that to look forward to.
I just want to see Kevin Owens win the Royal Rumble, and
Yes.
I think I'm set. Like, I don't know if there were plans for someone else to be the challenger for the title.
Daniel
Goldberg,
Bryan, maybe.
like,
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan, maybe that would be great too.
No.
But
It has
I
to be
wanna see
Kevin Owens.
Win the Rumble. Like, I'm sure he's not going to win the cage match because I mean, the cage is not going to stop Jey Uso from coming in.
Yeah.
He had a broken friggin' ankle and he still came in, so it didn't matter.
So now we were talking about this, and I was texting, and I'm like, man, they really shot themselves in the foot. Like, how come this isn't the main event? This was match of the night. How are Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt going to follow up? And I kind of it does make sense why this was not the main event. And we're going to jump to the main event, Randy Orton versus The Fiend in a Firefly Inferno match. But at the beginning,
let me stop you though for 1 second, because you laughed at me last time, but there was that weird 2020 promo holiday thing.
Okay.
It happened.
It did.
It was a real.
It was a real thing, and I thought that I was also having an acid trip, like you. But it was real. I cannot believe how ridiculous that looked. But at the same time, I was sports entertained. So
yeah, it was walking the line between absolutely what is this and actually the best thing I've ever seen. Yeah.
So we're going to jump to the Firefly Carol. So it's basically Bray Wyatt just poetically telling the story between him and Randy Orton. I thought it was excellent. Like, just if there's anything that you might be a hater or anything like that, but you can't disagree with the fact that the WWE just makes the best video packages hands down, and this was one of them. And it definitely hyped me up for the Firefly Inferno match. And at the very beginning, like, there's a couple of strikes and a couple of punches, and Bray Wyatt the Fiend, takes control, hits Randy Orton with the Sister Abigail, and then he kind of summons the fire. And that was a really, really good moment, and I thought it looked
because there was no
cool.
fire.
Yeah,
there was no fire during this. It was just a regular match. Orton was wearing pants and a hoodie, and we're like, "Where's the fire?"
And
then the fire came in.
Yeah, and I know that the bar is low, but this was the best Inferno match that I've seen, and
it was the original. Pretty.
Yeah, I get it, but like, this was definitely. I think that this was like a step above, for I guess the sheer brutality, violence, and possibly death that we saw in this match. But the way to describe it, it's kind of simple, right? Like, you have Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt kind of going at it. There's a couple of strikes. They take the action outside to the announce table. They kind of throw each other to the barricade, and there's always like that moment where one guy takes the other guy and puts him very, very close to the fire. And Randy Orton is actually successful, right? Like, so this is where we're at the ramp, and there's like a fire pole, I guess you can call it. And
because the fire surrounds the Thunderdome, not really the ring. Yeah. And so it's not like what you expect if you've seen previous ones.
But dude, I saw a still, like an HD still after this morning of Randy Orton kind of putting Bray Wyatt, like when he pushed him in the fire, and his dreads were on fire, man. Like, how did that not smell? Like, how did that not burn? You know what I mean? Of course, I know that they protected themselves with whatever, but that picture, that still was incredible. And Randy Orton kind of sets Bray Wyatt on fire, and he's shocked. But Bray Wyatt,
you're jumping ahead though a bit, because there was some cool stuff. Like, there was a point where the Fiend pulled out the rocking chair and he poured gasoline on it, and he made a path of gasoline, and he sat Orton down on it, and he lit the fire, and Orton escaped at the last minute. There was a pickaxe. Like, the Fiend did have attempted murder. Like, he tried to kill Orton with a pickaxe, which was absurd. The only way Orton was able to fight back was with like a couple of weapons, like he had an axe handle or something. The Fiend did a thing where he breaks someone's neck, which was like, always exciting to see, because it looks like you're actually dead, but you're not. Mm-hmm. And the spot to finish it was the mandible claw, right? It looked like Orton was going to get pushed into the fire, but he like turns it around and pushes the Fiend back, and he catches fire, but he doesn't really react to it. He kind of like, Orton is shocked and like retreats to the ring, and the Fiend chases him down and runs into an RKO, and that's when he's down. And the fire just kind of like, because the fire is on his jacket, right? Yeah. And it kind of like just fades out. But so it's not clear that the match is over, even though, Orton wins the match at this point. But Orton had like one more thing he wanted to do. He wanted to seal the deal. And boy, did he ever.
But I'm sorry, but like the fact that he hit an RKO on a burning man was just like, that was sick.
That was incredible. Like what we said, it like the Fiend would be on fire and like no sell it, which basically he did. Mm-hmm. And he RKO'd a flaming person, which was amazing. And then Orton decided to pour gasoline on a lifeless Fiend who was just in the middle of the ring. and the commentary is like losing it. You can't do this. You can't do this. And he
Samoa
lights
Joe,
the Fiend on. He lights the Fiend on fire, which is obviously like some puppet, like the camera cut, and you could see like it's just some
It
doll.
was well done though.
But it was very well done. Like I was there, and I'm like, yeah. I was watching, and I was like, I believe
the commentary though. Kudos to all three of them. Kudos to Samoa Joe, Byron Saxton, and Tom Phillips, because like Samoa Joe, like the intensity and the concern in his voice, like don't do it, Randy, don't do it, do something else, don't do it. Like dude, like that was so good. Like it's one of those calls that like I think that they're going to kind of show over and over and over again. I think this is interesting. I guess to kind of end this episode, you know, the Fiend is probably dead, but I mean, Bray Wyatt is probably going to reincarnate into like another character, like a more darker character. Let's not forget that Alexa Bliss is still in this storyline. What's going to happen then? I don't think that this is over. I think that this ends with, you know, Bray Wyatt or the Fiend or whoever coming out on top. But I was thoroughly sports entertained, and I thought that this was the right ending.
Yeah, absolutely. That was like, I mean, Randy Orton killed the guy. He should probably lay low for a while. And
it's gonna be all over Raw, though. You know that
he's gonna show up on Raw, and he's like, I don't understand. He's gonna get arrested. What's gonna happen?
Oh my God! Can we also say that Randy Orton was wearing pants?
I mentioned it before, but yeah, he was wearing pants.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to mention that again. But hey, if I had to kind of give like a letter grade to this show, like just if I had to give a number like 9.5, I honestly thought that this was a really, really good show, which I think the one match maybe that was okay was the women's tag team match, but even then it was so entertaining that like honestly there were not a single bad matches on this card.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, I don't think it's a 9.5. I'd give it like an 8.5 or a 9, but like if I'm being like, I didn't think it was as great as. It's not near perfect, but yeah, it was a solid show. Like TLCs have always delivered, I feel like, and this one was no different.
Yeah, absolutely. So let us know what you guys think. Did you disagree? Did you enjoy it? Did you maybe agree with the fact that Randy and Bray should have been the main event? What do you think about Bray Wyatt being dead? Randy killing someone on TV? Is this adult enough for the USA Network? Apparently, because that was the rumor. They wanted the WWE to be darker and more violence. But yeah, that's it. So
there's gonna be a crossover with Law and Order, and they're gonna have like some sort of thing.
All right, so leave a comment below, leave a like as well, and make sure to subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yo, I can't wait for the epic feud between Charlotte and Lana, because Lana needs to get her revenge for not getting her title opportunity.
But where does Billie Kay slide into this?
Anywhere, anytime. Honestly. Her resume speaks for itself. She can do anything she wants. She could be on commentary. She could be in this feud, even though she has no, beef with Lana or Charlotte. Why not? Book it. Let's do it.
Long live Billie Kay.